So welcome to you all, Colombia April team heading off next week. The purpose of today is to get you organized, okay? And for those that aren't here, just settle in. We'll probably talk for about 20 minutes, okay? So brace yourselves. We are going to run through your flights, your itinerary, your airport admin, money, extra costs to budget for, phones, SIM cards, Wi-Fi, kit list, personal admin, health and safety. Okay, so we're going to whiz through all of that. At any point, okay, stop me in my tracks, wave at me, and just ask me questions. Because by the end of this Zoom meeting, we want you to kind of leave thinking, right, I'm under control. I know what I've got to do. Okie dokes? So starting off with your flights. So Alice is sitting opposite me and she said, could you chase some of you? Okay, so I'm just going to go through the list. There are currently 16 of you going on this trip. One had to pull out yesterday through medical reasons. So it's a lovely round number of 16. We need return flights for Clara, Isadora, Annabelle, Seb, Tom, Stevens, okay? We need your exit flight out of Colombia because one of the requirements to enter Colombia is that on arrival, you will be asked to show proof of departure, okay? So I don't care what it is. It can be a bus ticket, but it's always safer to book a flight. So book, if you don't know what your plans are, just book the cheapest flight that you can find. Okay, dokes? So departure, you are all departing on the Avianca flight, apart from Tom and Logan. You're going on a yes, Logan, you're going on a different departure time. But everybody else, you are all going on the same Avianca flight, which is direct to Bogota. And what I want you to do at Heathrow is check yourselves in independently and then meet the other side, what they call airside. And I will find a cafe in your terminal and kind of send that letter next week, send that email next week, where to meet. When you get to Bogota, okay, it's going to be some hideous time in the morning, okay? So just try and get some sleep on the first leg. When you get there, you're going to have to, when you check in at Heathrow, I want you to check if your baggage is going to be taken all the way through to Bucaramanga or if you have to pick it up in Bogota, okay? So that's a key question to ask. Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. So you need to specify, okay? So when you enter Bogota, you may or may not pick up your bags, but you're going to have to exit international and walk across to internal, okay? They're next door to each other, so it's very easy, but you do have to exit one and enter the other. When you get to the internal flight, it is highly likely that they will change your internal flight because Avianca have a tendency to do just that. Don't panic if they do. They'll just put you on the next flight. You know, they will get you all organized. Before you go, we will set a WhatsApp. Actually, question, has there been a WhatsApp group set up for you all? Right. We will set that up and add Brendan and the team in Colombia. So if there is any cock-ups with the flight, you just put it on the WhatsApp, Bob's your uncle, and then the message just gets relayed down the system. Okay? So it should be very straightforward. But, you know, when you get to Bogota, they just might, you know, change your flight, but that's easy to manage. Okay. Any questions on the flights? Hold on, let me switch this off. There we go. Right, moving to your itinerary. Okay, so you're going to be picked up at Bucaramanga. I cannot pronounce it, and let alone spell it. Okay, and then you're going to be picked up and transported to Barichara, which is, brace yourself, another 2.5 to 3 hour drive. Okay, so I know it's one hell of a long journey, but when you get there, you will have the weekend to recover. Okay, and there is loads of nice places to kind of chill and just hang out at, so you will just flop. That weekend is quite important. Everything will start on Monday. So you've got 2 full weeks in Barichara, where your time is going to be a mix of Spanish lessons, volunteering, and local hikes. Now, the local hikes are, yes, they're to get you fit and ready for the big Lost City trek and the canyon trek, but also you are in an ancient part of Colombia with the ancient Spanish roots, with all these wonderful Spanish villages kind of all linked up by these trails. So that is what you're going to experience. So every day will be different. So you will just love it. Okay. The Spanish, you will get divvied up into different groups depending on your Spanish level. Okay. But it's really important to have these Spanish lessons. Because a lot of people there do not speak English. Okay, you will find that across the whole of South and Central America. So if you are going independently traveling afterwards, really concentrate in those lessons. You're not going to be taught any kind of grammar or anything like that. You're going to be taught the basics. Hello, how are you? My name. Can I order a taxi? It's stuff, hospital, where, how, so you can safely get around and communicate. Your project work while you're there is a mix of conservation, helping with the local fire brigade. I know, who knew? But it's very community orientated, Barichara. It really is accessing and entering a local community. You won't see other tourists in Barichara. That is for sure. It's like, and you are meted and greeted and treated just like with great excitement by all. So you're going to be helping the fire brigade. You're going to be helping in the local school. Boys, girls, there's football matches, there's rugby matches going on. Brendan is passionate. He has his own rugby team, so I will talk more about Brendan and his family. But, before you know it, you're going to be in the local strip out on the pitch. So there's just lots going on. The project that everybody does is a wonderful community project, which is towards the end, where the local community choose a local member of their community who really needs help. And that's where, because there's so many of you, it will probably be 2 people. And you could be the last group. They mended somebody's roof, this old guy who was blind and living really under the poverty line. And they mended his roof, sorted out his kitchen. Oh, and put in a flat floor so he didn't trip because he's lost his eyesight. So there are wonderful little projects like that that just get popped into the first 2.5 weeks. Okay. At the end of the 2.5 weeks, on the 3rd week at the beginning, you'll be doing your canyon trek. Now, this is an overnight trek where you trek down the canyon, you camp riverside, you're sleeping in hammocks, and then you have to trek out. So this is good practice getting you ready for the Lost City trek, which comes in the 2nd phase. The Lost City trek, the 2nd phase, is you will catch a bus north to the Caribbean, and here in Barichara, you're in dry heat. When you get to the coast, you're in the kind of jungly, humid heat. So you need to kind of pack for both. So at the coast, you will have some downtime to get ready, get prepared for the big 3-night Lost City trek, where it is a challenge. But everybody loves it. And looking at the last guy's feedback, that was, for many people, the highlight of the trip. You are sleeping in hammocks. You are washing in the rivers. It is slippy. It is slidey. You're hot. You're sweaty. It's you've got all of that going on, but you feel so proud of yourself at the end. When you get back to Santa Marta, it's a real high five moment. So, you know, brace yourself for it, but it should be one of the highlights. Okay. At the end, you will be taken to Cartagena, and that is your end point. And Cartagena, for those that haven't booked your exit flights, is a great place to end. You can fly north to Central America or south further on to around South America. Okay, so very easy. The airlines to look at for onward flight are Avianca, Copa, and Volaris and LATAM. Okay, those are 4 key airlines that work out of Cartagena. If you are going to head north into Central America, especially into Costa Rica, it is essential that you have your yellow fever jab. Okay, absolutely essential. You will not be allowed into Central America from South America without yellow fever. Okay, so just register that in your brain. You do have time. So that is your order of phases, but every day will be different. And I'm not going to go through every day's schedule because it will change when you're out there, depending on the weather, etc., etc. Who's running this trip? Well, you are Infiltrate. It is run by Brendan and his gorgeous family. Okay, and Brendan has been running our programs. He is Scottish. He then lived in Venezuela for years and years, running our program there. And then the last 10 years, he's married a beautiful Colombian lady and set up here. He is gorgeous. He knows Colombia like the back of his hand, and he will tell you many a story about how Colombia works. You know, he can bring narcos to life. So where you are, actually, joking aside, parents listening to this, it is very safe, and he really does know how to work Colombia. But I will come back to health and safety at the end. So Brendan and his family, Brendan, his gorgeous wife, and they've got about 5 children now who love the volunteers. You're going to be woken up by his children most days. You live in the center of Barichara in a hostel, but it was a hostel, but we take it over. So it very much becomes your home. So that is the itinerary. Everyone happy on the itinerary? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Just looking at my list. So money, extra cost to budget for. Money. Okay. You will get the local currency out when you get there. In Barichara or at Bogota Airport from the ATMs. So don't go rushing around thinking you've got to get it out in the UK. However, I would take $100 cash on you. That's just good practice, just in case. You never know what you might need it for, but $100 cash in your money belt. The best way to get money out is with a Revolut, Starling, or Monzo card. Okay, now this is key bit of information. You want to have about a budget 150 quid to 200 quid at any one time on that card. Okay, so when you drain it down, you transfer more over. Now, the reason being, it sounds really depressing, but it's really useful, because should you meet a nasty person on the streets and they take you to the ATM and say, please give me all your money out of your card, that's all they can take. Okay, and it's that kind of magic number where they feel it's enough. Okay, this is just from experience. So always have about 150 quid on your Revolut, Starling, or Monzo at any one time. And you never, ever go out into the town, to a restaurant, anywhere with more than one card on you. You only take one card at a time. So it's so good to take a backup card, a debit card or something, but you always have that tucked away in the hostel, locked up somewhere safe as your backup. Now, the extra costs to budget for, I've listed the costs in your itinerary, which is now loaded up into your MyLeap area. There's a list of extra things that you can do at the weekends, from bungee jumpings to paragliding to white water rafting to all sorts of adventures, which happens in a town called San Gil, which is about 30 minutes away from where you're living in Barichara. Okay, now a lot of people just go for day trips at the weekend, easily arranged, catch the bus, or if there's enough of you, the transport will take you there. But those extra activities are extra. A bungee jump, for example, costs about $85, whitewater rafting in the same region. So just kind of think in your head if you're going to budget for those things. Cost-wise, you also need to budget for supper every night. So supper is not included in the cost of the program. Okay. The reason for that is because there are so many cool little cafes and restaurants, local restaurants and cafes all through Barichara. So you've got the freedom to chop and change and go and experience local life. Okay. Budget, I would say $10 to $15. A beer, for example, costs about $1.50. So it's not expensive. Most people on the feedback said they spent an extra $100 a week. Any questions on the money? All good, right? Moving on to your phones. Okay, take 2 phones. You're going to take your mothership, which has got your life on it and runs like a dream. But you're also going to have slung in your bag a backup burner phone should your main phone get lost, dropped in the ocean, nicked, smashed, you name it. It happens. In Central South America, buying new phones hugely expensive, and most insurance companies do not cover telephones. Okay, so you'll be careful with your phone and take up a backup phone. Okay. SIM cards, you will get a local SIM card within the first couple of days in Barichara. Okay. But most people just use the Wi-Fi. So in the hostel, you will have Wi-Fi, and in most of the cafes, there's Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is of a limit. So it's really good for WhatsApp. It's really good for kind of social Instagram, but it's not good enough for downloading movies. Okay, so it has its limitations, but it is, you will probably get a local SIM card, so it'll be easy. Kit list. Okay, look on the kit list in MyLeap. Everything there is on there for a reason. Okay, now in Barichara, it can get cold at night. So yes, take a long pair of trousers, take some long sleeve t-shirts, maybe one of those little puffers, but it is going to get hot during the day. But you could, the temperature can drop. So you've just got to, and if you're traveling on after Colombia to Central South America, it's always worth taking a little puffer jacket. Do you know those types from Uniqlo? They bundle down to absolutely nothing. That's a brilliant thing to take. Shoes, okay? Maximum 3 pairs of shoes are to enter your rucksack. Okay, we're talking a pair of flip-flops, Birkenstocks, that type of thing, a pair of nice shoes that you want to wear in the evenings to go out, and a pair of hideous, rubbishy shoes which are good enough to trek in, get wet, soggy. The Lost City trek, they get ruined and you probably won't want to bring them home. Now, a lot of people in the last feedback saying they wish for the Lost City trek, they had taken a pair of walking boots. So I've spoken to them and it's like, what actually part of the walking boot was the bit that you missed? And it was a grippy sole. Okay, because it is slippery, so the terrain. So have a look at the Salomon all crosses, the Salomon speed cross, that type of kind of ruggedy trainer. Really, really useful shoe. Okay. I can't hear you. What was that?
A trail hiking shoe.
There we go. Thank you. A trail hiking shoe. They're really, really useful. Bags. This is not the time to take a hard shell suitcase on wheels. Okay. It's not allowed. I'm telling you now. It's just hopeless. Okay. This is the time where you can take either a rucksack or a soft duffel bag, which has got straps that you can sling on your back to go from the hostel down a road to catch a bus. Okay. But it's easy to sling about, to throw about, to strap onto the roof of a minibus, shove and squish into the back of a taxi. Okay. No hard shells. Okay. It's got to be soft. 80 to 100 liters is a good size. If you're taking anything more than that, you're taking too many clothes. If in doubt, don't take it. You can buy everything out there. But take everything that is on that packing list. Okie dokes. A day rucksack, really, really useful piece of kit to take a good day rucksack. I would say 20 liter day rucksack with padded shoulders. So if you're looking at your rucksack that you used at school to carry your books, that's probably not great because you're going to be taking that on your canyon trek. You're going to be taking that on the Lost City trek, and you don't want straps that are going to dig into your shoulders. Okay. So if you're going to spend any money on kit, spend it on your day rucksack. And your trail shoes. I'm just looking at the kit list. You can get all your washing done for about $5 to $10 a load. So don't worry about that. You can keep on top of your washing. If you've forgotten anything, it's tough. There is no post to Costa Rica. Okay, so to Colombia even. Sorry. So these are the things you would be amazed that people have forgotten and then panic. Your bank cards, you're not going to forget those. Okay. Your camera, your phone, I mean. One of the girls on not this trip, but on another trip, she forgot all her underwear and her swimmers. I mean, you're not going to forget these things, okay? So really, really focus, because if you arrive without them, it's tough. You've got to go and buy them, okay? Personal admin, okay? On the health form, we want to know everything. Okay, we don't like surprises. So if any of you have weird or wonderful nut allergies, please tell us before you go. Fear, phobias, mental health, eating, meals, just tell us. And then we can discuss things before and, get it all prepared for your arrival. Okay. The last thing is health and safety. Okay, now this is when I become dead serious and probably sound like a school teacher. Okay, this is a gap year trip. Okay, it is not a school trip. So you are not going to be treated like you are on a school tour. Okay, but you are in Colombia. Okay, putting it out there, there's loads of cheap drink, spirits, and clearly loads of drugs in Colombia, of which you will be offered, not in Barichara, but especially when you are at the coast. Okay, so let's start with the alcohol. Yeah, everyone's to have a few drinks. Of course you'd have a few drinks. But if you're one of those annoying types that decide to get absolutely wasted every night and throw up everywhere, that will be annoying. Not for everybody. It will be annoying for everybody. So if you are that type of person and you think, oh God, I have a tendency to do that, please don't. Because once you'll just get a ticking off for Brendan. Twice, you'll get a lovely email from me saying, wind your neck in. 3 times, you might be asked to leave. Okay? The drugs I'm not joking. It is deadly serious. You are not to accept drugs. You are not to go seeking drugs. And you've got to be vigilant when you are at the coast. Okay? So you've got to stick together. You do not wander off on your own, because people will kind of hustle you in the streets. They could try and plant drugs on you. You know, you've got to be eyes wide open and be properly sensible. And that's just not in Colombia. That's it through the whole of Central and South America. So really be on your guard. You know, don't go on the street, you know, having had too many beers, because that's when you're vulnerable. That's when accidents happen. Okay. Brendan will drill this into you all day, every day when you're out there. Barichara, you're super safe. This is just moving on to the kind of the coastal towns where it's more touristy and there's more kind of, you know, idiots looking out for green tourists. So be careful. Okay, if people are caught with drugs, I'm afraid you will be asked to leave the program immediately. So it's not really the vibe we're after. Okie dokes. So at this point, that's kind of leaves on a kind of rather note, but let's bring it back into joyous moments. So are you all feeling organized? Does that answer questions about where to be at Heathrow? You check yourself in. What to pack? Look at your kit list. No post, don't forget anything. Okay, 2 telephones, 2 bank cards, water bottle and a hat, really useful, and your trail shoes. All good? All good. Any questions? No questions. Well, you're easy to please. Oh, we have one. Yes.
What about if they want to travel onwards afterwards? How will you help? Will Brendan help them kind of arrange stuff and advise them on what's the best thing to do?
Yes. So what often happens is week 3, you'll start talking about this, because you will have kind of made your friends, starting getting the vibe about what you want to do. Then before you leave for the coast, we will email you saying, does anybody have a plan? And then parents will often be asked to change the flights. Brendan will talk about how you access this. If you want to have a Zoom call with me when you're away about onward ideas, very happy to do that. Do that regularly with groups of gappers who are exploring which direction to go. But choose one direction. When you get to Cartagena, either go north, you know, Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Belize. Belize is really, really popular at the moment. Or you head south, Ecuador, Peru, down to Bolivia. Don't try and do a bit of both. But you're right in the center, so it's perfect to head north or south. But Brendan, while you are still in Colombia, when you're traveling about afterwards, Brendan will look after you. Okie dokes. Was that helpful? I look forward to helping George. Yeah, George, head south.
You'll need to.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got the Easter holiday. We got the Easter break now. So our office is closed Friday and Monday. Okay, we're back in Tuesday. So if you've got any questions, email me and I can answer it quickly over the weekend, or just call us first thing Tuesday morning. Okay, but get organized. Right. Loving you and leaving you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Alex, are you staying?
Oh, I've just clicked leave.
Oh,
I gone. I don't
too
think it worked though.
shit, I've got no, wait, I've got to end.
Why?